All right, this is a really cool sound. I particularly like what he plays over the 5 chord here. There's a lot of unique stuff going on. So we're going to start out in the 12th position over our A minor 7 chord, right, being the 2 chord of the 2-5-1 to G. And obviously, the fingering I'm using is not what he's using. It's honestly kind of incredible that he's able to articulate different lines like this with the limitations that he had on his fingers. So just kind of reinforcing how much of a badass Django really was. But we start with our pinky up on the 15th fret of the first string, and you pick it, and then you just do a little slur down to the 12th fret using every finger. Okay, so if we look at that against the A minor chord, it's our flatted 7th, slurring down to the 5th, chromatic from the flat 7 to the 5. Okay, and then from there, my middle finger goes to the 13th fret of the 2nd string. I pick that, then I pick my pointer finger on the 12th fret of the 2nd string. Then my pointer finger goes to the 12th fret of the 3rd string, and then my ring finger goes to the 14th fret of the 4th string. And then from there, you jump up to the 2nd string, and you pick the 12th fret, being the B note, and you just hammer on to the C with your middle finger, and then back down. And then ring finger goes to the 14th fret of the 3rd string, and then the 12th fret of the 3rd string. Okay, so that's what we have for the A minor chord. Okay, and that basically just, A minor 7 with like the 9 added, and A minor 7 arpeggio shapes with the 9 added, the B note, and then that little slur. Okay, now here's where I think it gets really interesting. So this is over the D7 chord, and we go down to our 10th position. He starts with his, I'm starting with my pinky. I'm not sure how he was fingering it, but starting with the pinky on the 13th fret of the 4th string. This is really cool. You do pinky on E flat, pointer finger on C, then you go down a string, put your ring finger on A, which is the 12th fret, pointer finger on the 10th fret, and then you hammer on the middle finger to the 11th fret. So theoretically, what looks like is going on there is if you look at the note we landed on the A flat note, which is the tritone against the D7, right? So this is over a D7 chord, and we notice the note we're landing on is the tritone. So we've talked about this in other videos before. So he's probably thinking tritone sub, and that last little bit of it looks like it'd be like a little chromatic approach to the tritone sub note, because if we're landing on A flat, if we look at A, G, and A flat, it's one above, one below, and then we land on the A flat, right? So starts with the E flat and C, so that's like if we think of it against D, it's dominant flat 9, right? Flat 9, flat 7, and then this is actually the 5 against D, but it also can function as that little chromatic note into the tritone sub note, the flatted 5th. Hopefully this all makes sense. I know there's a lot of information. So that's how we start. And then from here, this is a really cool like dominant 9 arpeggio. A flat, dominant 9. So A flat, and then you put your pointer finger on the 10th fret of the next string, the 4th string. Hammer on to the 13th fret on your 4th string. And then the next 3 strings you go up, you do the 11th fret on the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. So if you look at that, it looks like an E flat minor chord on the top 3 strings. And then after you get to the E flat on the 1st string, you hammer on to the 14th fret with your pinky, the G flat, back to E flat. So, okay, and then this is another little snippet of that A flat dominant 9 arpeggio. Ring finger on the 13th fret of the 2nd string, 11th fret on the 2nd string, pointer finger on the 11th fret of the 3rd string, and then ring finger goes to the 13th fret of the 4th string. So if we look at that, right, it's just more notes from that A flat dominant 9 arpeggio. So that's a cool little trick you can think of. If you're playing over a 2-5-1, right, you have your A minor 7 arpeggio or A minor 9. And then you can just go down a half step and do a dominant 9. Right? And that functions as like a tritone sub. Right? So it's pretty safe to assume that's what he's thinking over that. Okay, and then after that, well, up to here we have. And then from there we go like this. Pointer finger on C sharp on the 4th string, and then middle finger goes up to D. Then you jump up an octave to the D on the 1st string. So pointer finger up on the 10th fret of the 1st string. And then pinky goes to the 13th fret of your 2nd string. And then middle finger on 11, ring finger on 12. So once again, another chromatic. We did a chromatic here, a half step below the 5th, right? Jump up to the 5, and then right here. Once again, if we think we're landing on the 3rd of the G, right? One above, one below. I'm sorry. And then from there, he just does an octave. I'm sorry, not an octave, a 5th. Pointer finger on D, and then your ring finger goes down to the 12th fret of the 3rd string, the G, and go. Okay, so the whole thing.